Tokyo, November 1960. The wind blowing in from the bay carries the foul stench of rotten fish, diesel oil, and bitter sea salt. You are 18 years old, shivering under a broken corrugated iron awning. Freezing water seeps through the holes in your cheap canvas shoes, creeping into every crevice between your toes. You sluggishly chew a handful of rice from yesterday, grumbling and cursing because the grains are as hard as gravel. Your greatest desire right now isn't power or money. You just crave a steaming bowl of ramen and a place to sleep that doesn't leak. You are a stray dog at these docks, an orphan, a nobody clinging to the bottom of the food chain by swinging your fists. You survive by collecting spare change from old women selling fish, fighting tooth and nail every day just to snatch the right to exist on a few square meters of wet concrete. But the ear-piercing sound of metal dragging on the pavement suddenly cuts through your thoughts. The relentless pounding of wooden geta sandals. Not one, but 20 men carrying iron pipes and knives are grimly marching straight toward you. 3 days ago, you pulverized the face of an arrogant punk who refused to pay his cut. Little did you know he was the biological son of a gang boss from the other side of the city. Your heart pounds in your chest, so hard that it drowns out even the deafening ship horns out in the harbor. Your vision blurs, narrowing into a blood-soaked tunnel. You roar, swinging an iron pipe and taking down the first 3 men. The sound of shattering jawbones strikes directly against your eardrums. But there are too many of them. A knife slashes across your ribs. Blood gushes out, hot and sticky, soaking a patch of your shirt. The rusty taste of blood and dirt rushes straight into your throat. You collapse onto the street, your strength drained, your lungs burning, helplessly watching the steel blades raised high. The screech of car brakes pierces the air. A glossy black Toyota Crown comes to a screeching halt right at the edge of the docks. The thugs freeze, parting to the sides like a pack of rats spotting a cat. Stepping out of the car is the boss, the Oyabun of the Yakuza clan that rules this territory. The scent of a premium cigar immediately overpowers the fishy stench. You have no way out. You drag yourself with both hands, crawling through your own pool of blood, and then slam your forehead onto the cold, wet asphalt right beneath his polished leather shoes. Save me. I will be your dog. The boss looks down, his cold eyes devoid of a single ounce of emotion. His gold-ringed hand reaches into his pocket and tosses a coin onto the ground. Clink. The rusty 5-yen coin bounces and rolls right in front of your nose. Your life is only worth this much. Trembling, you pick the coin up. Your palm grips it so tightly that the metal edge cuts through your skin, mixing the rust with the hot stream of blood. That day, on the Tokyo docks, you didn't die, but you threw away your freedom forever. 5 years pass. The slight warmth from the boss's pseudo-pity has been paid for with blood, the blood of others and your own blood. After that night at the docks, the senior mobsters threw you into a car and dumped you at a seedy underground clinic. 15 stitches, done raw without anesthesia, pierced the flesh of your ribs, the smell of medical alcohol rushing straight to your brain. In exchange for sharp, tailored silk suits and the deep bows of the Shinjuku gangsters at age 23, you became a killing machine. You shattered knuckles, drowned traitors in Tokyo Bay, and turned brutality into a ladder to power. But deep inside, when you touched the rusty 5-yen coin always kept cold at the bottom of your pocket, you know the truth clearly. You have never been the master. You are just a well-fed hound. Tokyo, 1965. The air in the boss's private tea room is thick with the scent of fresh tatami mats and the sour stench of cold sweat. The boss's biological son is curled up in the corner of the room, vomiting from drunkenness and terror. He just accidentally fired a revolver bullet right between the eyes of a patrol officer. A death sentence looms, and the entire Tokyo Metropolitan Police Force is preparing to turn the city upside down, crushing this clan to dust. The boss, the powerful man who once stood from on high and tossed you a coin for your life, stumbles forward. He drops to both knees on the floor, grasps your scar-covered hands, tears streaming down his face. He wails, pathetic and cowardly. He begs you to turn yourself in, begs you to sacrifice your entire youth to save his worthless son. A dense silence pins down your eardrums. You look at the convulsing sun, then look at your master. You thrust your left hand into your pocket, your fingertips grazing the rough surface of the rusty coin. You don't say a word. Your right arm slowly draws the wooden-hilted tanto knife hidden in your coat. To slice through the cartilage and bone of a pinky joint, a 15-centimeter forged steel blade requires a vertical pressure of about 14 kilograms. Thunk! A blinding white pain explodes, tearing through your nervous system, convulsing every muscle fiber in your shoulder. Your heart beats madly, surging up to your throat, making the coppery taste of blood seep through your teeth. Your vision blurs from beads of sweat. You clench your jaw tight, pick up the blood-soaked severed finger, wrap it in a pristine white handkerchief, and push it toward the boss. My life is yours to keep. 7 years of imprisonment at Fuchu Prison. The darkness of the cell, soaked in the smell of mildew, cold concrete, and bedbugs, gnaws away at the prime years of your life. On the rare visiting days, through the thick glass, you watch your underlings bow their heads in sorrow. You only offer a forced smile, hiding the bone-chilling nights and the stomach cramps from vindictive prison beatings. The food in here isn't too bad. The weather seems nice. But you do not wither away. You share a cell with an elderly financial criminal. One evening, while you are gritting your teeth and massaging the aching stump on your left hand, the old man smiles and slides a crumpled stock market report across the edge of the bed. "Put your fists away, boy," he whispers, his eyes flashing with the sharpness of an old fox. "The era of swordsmen is over. Now, a debt paper is what kills people." You pause. You take the yellowed paper. Under the flickering prison lights, the lifeless numbers begin to dance in your mind. You accepted the sacrifice of being a pawn, but in the darkness of this cell, a new weapon is being forged. Stepping out of the rusty iron gates of Fuku Prison in 1972, there is no bloodshed to welcome you, only the harsh sunlight, blinding eyes accustomed to the dark. You survived 2,555 days of torment by chewing and swallowing every number, every credit trick from the old criminal. To rise to your current position, you discarded the tanto knife. You don a perfectly tailored suit, using real estate contracts tangled in vague clauses to force bustling neighborhoods to obediently relocate without shedding a single drop of blood. The razor sharpness honed in the dark dungeon brought the clan showers of cash during the Japanese economic boom, and, in return, the second seat of power in the organization belongs to you. Tokyo, 1978. You are 36 years old. Standing behind the tempered glass wall of a 40th floor penthouse, you look down at the dazzling sea of neon lights in Ginza. The air in the room carries the faint scent of expensive espresso and the sharp ink of legal documents. You press your forehead against the freezing glass. Your left hand, missing a pinky joint, gently swirls a crystal whiskey glass, the clinking of ice cubes sounding truly lonely. Right on the solid oak desk, sitting proudly next to files of financial reports, is the rusty 5 yen coin from years ago, a bitter contrast between the past and the present. But this empire of paper is rotting from within. The national economy is bloating. Capitalist forces are swallowing up land, while your boss is now just a senile old man clinging to an outdated gangster authority. The paranoia of old age makes him blind, secretly siphoning billions of yen from front companies to throw into loss-making projects. The greedy politicians, the umbrella protecting the gang, begin to smell blood. They send veiled threats, demanding massive tributes in exchange for their silence. You sit down on the chair, rubbing your face wearily. The loyalty that once made you chop off your own finger is now dragging you into the abyss. If you stay silent, the entire empire you traded your youth for will vanish into thin air, and you yourself will be crushed between the legal system and the ruling elite. You must make a dirty choice. Your heartbeat hammers heavy rhythms against your chest. The silence in the luxurious room thickens, suffocating. You reach out to open the drawer, your fingers grazing the coarse surface of a top-secret file containing complete evidence of the boss embezzling the gang's money. You are single-handedly burying the man who once saved your life, personally spitting on the most sacred Yakuza oath. You stuff the file into your briefcase, step out of the room, carrying no weapons. You head straight to the closed-door meeting of the high-ranking Yakuza Council. The betrayal takes place without gunshots, without bone-deep slashes. As the supreme leaders coldly nod to confirm the evidence, you step out into the hallway. The blast of cold air from the air conditioning hits your face directly, drying the soaking sweat on your forehead. You shove your hand into your pocket, gripping the rusty coin tightly. The gangster code of honor has crumbled. You shudder as you realize that, in this glittering era, loyalty is merely a bargaining chip, and money is the sharpest blade. The coup doesn't start with bullets, but with 4 suffocating years walking on thin ice. After secretly handing over the treacherous files, you begin the process of eroding the boss's power. Every spray of cash to bribe the elders, every fake filial smile in front of the old father figure is a looming death sentence if information leaks. The Yakuza throne is built on sleepless nights, drenched in cold sweat, excruciating stomach cramps, and countless envelopes of dirty money traded for silence. The higher the power, the more invisible the boundary between life and death becomes. Tokyo, winter 1982. The only person you truly trust, the old prison mate from years ago, now your secret financial advisor, has just dropped dead from a stroke amidst a mountain of debt files. The next morning, out of old habit, you brew 2 cups of hot green tea, intending to walk over to his room to grumble about the harsh weather. But the room is wide empty. You stand frozen, your hand missing the pinky trembling as it holds the tea tray. You bite your lip tightly, watching the thin steam rise from the undrunk cup of tea until it turns completely cold. That permanent absence crushes your nervous system. Amidst this noisy multi-billion yen empire, you awaken to the cruel reality. You are entirely alone. Tonight is the night of judgment. You stand outside the dark hallway of the traditional tea room. The space is eerily quiet, with only the pale moonlight filtering through the cracks of the shoji doors. Your vision narrows to a fragile sliver of light. Your ears are ringing, leaving only the frantic heartbeat pounding against your chest and the smell of musty pine wood rushing up your nose. You are completely isolated, carrying no weapons. A soft cough from the bodyguard inside, or if even one underling hasn't truly switched sides, you will be hacked into 100 pieces right in this narrow hallway. Cold sweat streams down your spine. You hold your breath, slowly sliding the door open. The tea room reeks of incense and despair. The boss sits in the middle of the tatami mat. His most loyal bodyguards have all lowered their knives, coldly stepping back behind you. The boss's eyes are cloudy and wrinkled. Realizing he has lost everything, he shakily draws a revolver, pressing it straight against his temple to end his own life, preserving the last shred of gangster honor. Your body lunges forward before your conscious mind can issue the command. Cold metal strikes hard against the wooden floor. You pin the man who once tossed you a coin for your life down onto the mat. Your hand tightly grips his frail wrist, ruthlessly forcing the bright red personal seal to press hard onto the prepared resignation letter. The rusty 5 yen coin bulges in your breast pocket, heavy. You lean close to his wrinkled, tear-streaked face, repeating the exact sentence that salvaged your soul in the prison cell years ago. The era of swordsmen is over. Now this piece of paper is what kills people. The Yakuza throne officially changes hands. You have become the king. But when darkness falls, you exhaustedly stare at the colossal debt contracts you just signed to inflate real estate. You used paper to usurp the throne. But how long can a king survive when his crown is tied to ticking time bombs on the stock market? 8 years ruling on the Yakuza throne turns you into a credit addict. The ultimate ascent demands a brutal price. You become a slave to flashing electronic ticker boards. To maintain and expand the empire, you frantically mortgage assets, borrowing tens of billions of yen at exorbitant rates from other gangs and underground banks to seize every inch of Tokyo land. Sleepless nights abusing sedatives erode your mind, turning every footstep in the hallway into treacherous plots. You can slaughter enemies, but you cannot sever the interest rates ballooning with every passing second. Late 1990. The economic bubble bursts. The Nikkei 225 index plummets vertically, evaporating over $2 trillion in asset value in just a few months. The golden parcels of land in the heart of the capital that you bled to conquer suddenly turn into piles of worthless scrap paper. But the collapse of a nation is not as terrifying as a single drop of cold sweat. That drop of sweat slowly rolls down your spine, falling to smudge the red ink on the emergency foreclosure notice placed right in front of you. The air in the air-conditioned room is freezing, but your lungs feel like they are on fire. The political factions that once held out their hands for bribes now collectively turn their backs. Your trusted underlings begin to whisper, avoiding your gaze. You smell the overpowering stench of betrayal. 2 financial directors have been frequently and sneakily absent lately. Someone is smuggling classified files to the economic police. Paranoia explodes, strangling reason. Your vision narrows into a dark tunnel. The surrounding sounds, the hum of the ventilation fan, the car horns on the street below, are all snuffed out, giving way to an ear-piercing ringing stabbing straight into your eardrums and a frantic heartbeat pounding like a sledgehammer smashing your chest. You grab the desk phone, your trembling fingers dialing the number. A bloody decision is made. Kill them both. But that is a fatal mistake. The reckless and sloppy murders in the middle of the city cause the police to immediately unleash a crackdown force. All assets and front companies are frozen. The gang shatters. Underlings scramble to flee. Your empire collapses in less than 48 hours. Late at night, at your private mansion, the oak doors are kicked open. The elders of the Yakuza Council, your true creditors, swarm in along with dozens of assassins. Your wife and 6-year-old son are dragged out to the middle of the house, freezing cold blades pressed against their throats. You have lost everything. Money vanished, power dissipated. No one still fears the scrap paper king that is you. Backed into a corner, facing the death of your own flesh and blood, you slowly kneel on the marble floor. You thrust your left hand into your pocket, touching the rusty 5-yen coin, the sole witness to your destitution from day one. Your right hand pulls out the wooden hilted tanton knife. Not a single word of begging. You place your left hand on the floor. The blade swings up. Thunk. A blinding white pain ravages your nervous system. Hot blood spurts out, surging with that familiar metallic stench. You bite your lip to pieces to keep from screaming, pushing the blood-soaked severed thumb toward the tips of the shoes of those holding the lives of your family. My life is yours to keep. In exchange, spare them. A document transferring all personal assets and life insurance beneficiary rights is thrown straight into the pool of blood right in front of you. After that blood-blurred night on the marble floor, they didn't kill you. The assassins tossed you onto a truck, drove you all the way to the outskirts, and kicked you out onto a gravel roadside amidst a freezing rain. Your wife and son were exiled to a remote countryside with new names, carrying a permanent ban never to contact you again. For 2 grueling years, clinging to life, the absence of your pinky and thumb on your left hand became a life sentence exposed in broad daylight. Not a single construction site or fish dock dared to hire a crippled Yakuza, bearing the title of an enemy of the council. From a king holding billions of yen, you were crushed, slowly decomposing into a wandering ghost on the very streets you once ruled. Shinjuku, Tokyo, December 1992. You turn 50. The north wind howls through the overpass underbelly. The smell of soggy cardboard, the pungent stench of garbage, and the diesel residue rising from the muddy puddle beneath your feet fill your lungs. You huddle in a torn old wool coat scavenged from a dumpster, stuffing damp newspapers into the lining to hold on to the fading body heat. Waves of arthritis gnaw at your body every time the cold seeps through the flimsy layer of plastic spread on the dirt floor. Above your head, the neon signs of the Kabukicho red light district still sparkle with Tokyo's ruthless prosperity. A glossy black Toyota Crown speeds past a puddle, splashing thick, freezing mud onto your cracked, bleeding ankles. That colossal economic empire keeps operating, indifferent and silent, trampling over those who have been chewed up by the machine. From the darkness under the bridge, you stare at the back of a middle-aged man holding a transparent umbrella, leading his young son by the hand as they hurriedly run across the flooded intersection. Your throat chokes with bitterness, swallowing dry saliva mixed with the taste of dust. You remember the son whom you will never get to watch grow up. If you could send a letter, what cheap lies would you use to hide this pathetic state? Dad is fine. Tokyo isn't too cold this year. The food here is delicious. You bear this repulsive reality alone, so that she and your son can live a normal life. The most cruel punishment is not death, but having to keep breathing when you have already rotted away. The left hand, with 3 curled, cracked fingers, reaches into the pocket of the tattered wool coat. The tip of the index finger glides over the freezing metal surface. You slowly pull out the rusty 5-yen coin. 32 years ago, at the age of 18, this coin was the price for you to sell your soul, saving your life under a rain of blood. You used it as an anchor, slashing, betraying, and usurping the throne to climb to the peak of the underworld. And now, at the age of 50, the crown fallen, the throne collapsed, all that remains of the infamous Yakuza king is a worthless piece of metal resting in a crippled palm. There is no grand death. There is no final gunshot to end it all. You clasp the 5-yen coin tightly in your palm, shutting your eyes tight. The sound of pouring rain batters against the mangled corrugated iron roof, swallowing the darkness.